Okay, so this is basically an update video. This is October 25th. I started this in February. I think it was February 13th. The car is not done. It is not done, not necessarily because of anything I did. Ran into some roadblocks. So I put the HTG controller in, and then basically about a week before I was ready to turn the car on for the first time, I guess you could just say that company dissolved. So I fought with trying to get the controller to work correctly. I ended up taking it down to SLG and letting them work on it. Didn't get anywhere. They put a different controller in it. That didn't get anywhere. Come to find out later that the GCU had to be activated through the firmware. So the GCU is now activated through the firmware, thanks to an individual. But the problem I have now is the CAN bus language that the software and the firmware is capable of reading at this point is E38 or E38 CAN bus language. I have an E40 that predates the E38. Basically because the company's not there anymore. I'm not going to be able to get anywhere as far as having them decode the language, because there is mandatory inputs that I have to have. I have to have my throttle input, I have to have my RPM input, which don't really know why it needs that, but it wants that. It wants my map sensor, and it wants, I believe, something else. So I can't even put it in gear. I have everything configured with the linear sensor, so it knows the voltage, and I've got the parameters all set up, so when I move the shifter, it'll go to where it needs to go. The problem is, like I said, I don't have the mandatory inputs. I apparently, as far as a new development in the past week, have discovered that this GTO was made late enough in the production cycle that it was really close to where they put the E38 in. So through Josh from Josh's Car Corner, he already did an E38 on his GTO and figured all of that stuff out. I'm actually in the process of trying to do that now. So I have the wiring schematics here. I have the plugs torn apart so that I can switch them over to the E38. So this is what the E40 looks like. And then over here on the bench, this is the E38. So I have to repin all this, and I have to change my powertrain interface module that's under the dash. And then I guess he's gonna come over here, because I'm not too far from him in Wisconsin, to program everything to make it work. Once that happens, I should be good as far as the electronic side, because it should be able to read RPM and all that stuff. Unfortunately, I now believe that because E38 is a 58 tooth computer for the crank sensor, and I have a 24X sensor or ring gear on the crank. So it would appear I have to do something I really don't want to do, and it's pull this motor out and then yank the crank out so that I can get the new reluctor put on the crank. Not really looking forward to that. But at this point, I believe I need to finish doing the wiring portion of this so that I know that it wants to read things. And then hopefully I have all of this ready before it gets too freaking cold, so that I can yank this engine out, go get that reluctor put on the crank, then put it back in and hope that I didn't fuck something up with the torque. And then spin a bearing, because that's kind of what I'm concerned with at this point. I would like to put ARP stuff in it, but it's been advised against putting ARP stuff in it without having everything line honed and set up for new clamping forces. So I'm stuck with using the ridiculous torque to yield crap from GM. But hopefully, God willing, before Christmas, I'm able to actually drive this car. As long as there's not salt on the ground, I intend on driving this car this winter. So, as far as everything for now, this is absolutely should not have taken this long, but it has. I really miss my car. It's been over a year now that it's been sitting. So, hopefully in the next few months I'm able to drive this, but that's all for now.